you doing?
Doing fine, sir. How are you?
I'm good.
Hello there. How are you, sir? Good to see you. Good to see you.
Okay. Can we start? Hi, how you doing? Yeah, Mike. Yeah. Jeff. Been busy. Yourself?
Fighting with my mom's dementia assisted living place.
Oh, that's always
Sad
fun.
transition. It's
Yeah.
man. I hope she doesn't.
Yeah.
I wouldn't want
Okay, I'd like to bring the meeting to order. I think it's going to be a short meeting, but first of all, roll call.
Justin Ellie.
Julie Chudnow.
Mike Drury.
Tom Sims.
Scott Fairman.
Okay. Thank you, everyone, for being here. So let's go through the minutes from the 8/16 meeting.
He burped. Motion to approve the minutes.
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right. The
Before we start, I'm sorry, Mr. President. We've got a quorum of the council here. We cannot have a quorum of the council. We've got 3 council members here.
so how many can stay?
rock, paper, scissors.
Okay.
Can they sit out in the hall, in the entry?
Well,
No,
it's
you don't
streamed,
count.
so they can go and see it on their,
But
you
you've
know.
got
But
1, 2, 3.
yeah, there's 3.
Parking lot.
Details.
I'm sorry, gentlemen.
Scott, that's happened to me before too, if it's any consolation. Get the riffraff out of the room here.
Last one in the door.
Yeah, last one here. All right, thank you for keeping us in order. So old business, discuss take possible action on the 2018 EDC golf tournament project, including update on payment and communications with the golf course. Julie?
So logistically, everything is set up. What we need now are golfers to enter the tournament. So we're getting the word out as best we can. We want realtors who are selling houses who don't know that Hollywood Park connects to the golf course to come to the tournament. So that's our big push right now, is making sure we have a full field. Our field is 72, and right now we're at 12 people who have registered. So we need some ideas on how to drum up participation and get RSVPs.
I have, in the last 2 days, sent the flyer to Real Estate Council, to the court directors for Real Estate Council, CREW, Real Estate Women's, CCIM, ULI. So they will send something out. It's going to happen like, sometime over this week, something will go out to each of those groups. Whether it's in time to get somebody to sign up for this tournament date, I don't know, but hopefully it'll get out to a lot of people through that. But
The Hollywood Park Community Association, they volunteered. They said they could send it to their mailing list of 1,100 people. Okay. So I don't know if it would hit realtors. It would hit a lot of people that live here in Hollywood Park, and maybe they would forward it along. Is that something we're interested in?
Well, if you did that, maybe the ask would be for each one of the members to invite their favorite realtor or the one who sold them their house. Make some connection.
Invite your realtor.
Yeah.
I
Because
think just as far as just getting citizens out, we're not really looking to pay for golf rounds and meals for citizens. We're trying to get realtors out.
Yeah.
So.
And the thing that's worked for me is actually speaking with some of the realtors first and finding the ones who are really, excited about golf or interested in golf. And they're the ones actually who will find another one or two or three to play with them. And I spoke with a broker today. He said he would circulate it in his office, and he would put together a team that's a foursome from his office. I mean, he just automatically envisioned, sending that many people.
Yeah.
It's from Becker right across the highway. So it helps to call and talk with some representative, maybe on the council or CCIM, if you could also call.
Yeah, and I've also sent to and received response from specific principals of real estate firms, not just these associations. And so, I've gotten replies back that they're sending it to their team. So I think we'll get more people. We just need to see what happens. And if it ends up being a small tournament this year, this is our first year. It's kind of what it is.
Do you mind or Mike's mind sending me the flyer? Yeah. I know.
Okay.
I'll send it to you.
Okay, that'd be great.
Just as a course of doing the marketing, I've sent it to every agent who currently has a listing in Hollywood Park and Hill Country Village. I've sent it to all the large surrounding offices. I've dropped off flyers at their offices. I've emailed it. And some offices, like KW Legacy, has over 400 agents. The KW City View has over 1,800 agents over off of I-10. So we're hitting large groups of potential players, but not everybody plays golf.
Right.
So
will they distribute the PDF version of the invitation?
they will. They post it, like Becker said he would put it on his Facebook page. And maybe that's a thought. Maybe we put it on our Facebook page, where people can find it.
It's a
Mr.
good idea.
Henderson, I'm sorry. May I interrupt just for
Sure.
a quick question? Forgive me, I feel a little stupid. My cities blur together sometimes. What is the date of the golf tournament again?
October 29th.
October 29th. All right. The mayor had pointed out the city still has access to Clear Channel time slots on the big sign. And if there's data or a flyer or someone wants to do something, they may be able to put it in there for advertisement as well, and that's free to the city and the EDC.
That's a great idea.
That's a good idea.
No, it's the mayor's idea. I'm just conveying. I want to make sure that we have enough time.
So
because we
how
got to
would
get
we
the information to Clear
accomplish that?
Channel.
How?
Someone needs to make what the display is.
Who has the parameters on what size it needs to be?
Janice, do you have that, or do you talk directly to Clear Channel?
It's 14 by 48.
Okay, he knows.
Okay.
We're used to a quarter inch is a foot, or a half inch equals a foot for a scale.
Okay.
And
You know what I would suggest on that is to say Hollywood Park Realtors Golf Tournament. Welcome, entries welcome. Call or and then just put a link to a
Just
number
simple.
or a web address. But
Is it
you
raising-
can't put a lot of data up there.
No.
no. Are we raising money for a fund? Not specifically. It's for the EDC, or is it, they'll want to know the benefactor?
There's no benefactor.
Right.
The benefactor is the city of Hollywood Park getting
Right.
recognition and drawing realtors to our city. That's what we're doing.
There are restrictions in what the city can put up for Clear Channel,
Yeah,
so we
it's
just
not,
have to make sure it fits right. But
I see.
it's
we're
an
not-
excellent idea, Mayor, to make sure to try and see if we can make it fit. We just
Yeah.
need the parameters of what it would be.
Yeah, I think it can meet the qualifications or the parameters of qualification because it's not a for-profit thing. And but I can work with whomever. If one of you want to get with me, we can see if we can have some luck with that.
Okay.
Yeah, so it sounds like we'll continue the realtor effort in finding those realtors that play golf. We'll scope out the billboard as a possibility. We had talked about inviting the business owners who have businesses here in Hollywood Park. I got an email listing on that. So is that something we still want to do? I can reach out to them. Yeah. Okay.
so.
And then Janice, you said you could put it on the Facebook if I send it to you.
I could put it on Facebook, we can tweet it out. If one of you want to stop by my office sometime, we can put it on our YouTube page, video, and people are going on that like crazy these days, so yeah.
Cool. Yeah. So so besides that, it's October 29th. It's a Monday. The HPCA, they had someone reach out who's going to be willing to volunteer at the event, which is really nice. I'll, of course, be there. But any of you guys, if you have the availability to be out there that day, I'm sure we'll need the help.
Who here is planning on the board is planning to be there?
I am.
I need to look at my calendar. I'm planning to try to get there.
Okay, all right.
Is this gonna be from what time to what time, Ms. Chetty?
Like 10 in the morning until 5 in the evening, roughly.
So could you possibly tap into that council list of players that just occurred?
I mean, I sent it to,
Or could they, maybe they forward it on to that same group?
yeah, that's what I asked them to do.
Okay, thank you.
And so she lives here in Hollywood Park.
Which one is she?
Help me here. Real Estate Council. Martha, yeah.
Okay.
Mangum, Paula's wife.
Besides that, Janice, you and I talked briefly. We saw that you guys have hats and T-shirts out there with the Hollywood Park logo. Do you guys think it would be cool to do a giveaway of some Hollywood Park merchandise?
I'm gonna tell you, we have a lot of white T-shirts that I can't give away, so if y'all could give them away, that would be nice. I don't know if what the mayor feels about it, but about giving them to the EDC, but we sold a few during National Night Out, but that's after people were happy, so that's how we sold them. So that's up to you. What do you think?
And we really didn't chase down all the sponsors and stuff that we had thought we might through the businesses as far as getting them to participate and give away bags and all that. But we'll do more of that next year.
Yeah, we reached out and didn't get
Didn't get
no.
response. Yeah. So, okay.
Mr. President, I think we skipped over approval of the financial statements.
Oh, yeah, we sure do. I do that every time. Yeah. Okay. Can we just finish this item? Is there any other items on this old business item 1? Any more discussion? Anyone out there on the golf tournament? Hi.
I'm Delaney Hall, and I live at 212 Calder Moreno. I'm not real educated on what the EDC purpose is, but what I've always understood is promote business. I feel that the homes in Hollywood Park sell themselves. A realtor's going to go anywhere that someone wants to buy a house. So I don't understand the money that's being spent to do this golf tournament. I would understand it more if it was just for the businesses that were here, to thank them for being part of Hollywood Park, but I don't understand the realtor aspect of it. I mean, I'm very grateful that y'all are putting in your time and effort and trying to come up with ideas. I think that's great. I just don't understand looking towards the realtors, because I believe Hollywood Park sells itself. And if a realtor doesn't know about Hollywood Park, they're probably new to Texas.
Okay. Any thoughts?
Are we allowed to respond?
Not allowed to respond to citizen comments, but
Thank you, Delaney.
this was tied to a posted agenda. So if you want to discuss it as it relates to your posted agenda on the golf tournament purpose, you're allowed as long as you're within that scope. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Or is that too confusing?
The other thing is this was an item that was it was an agenda item from
Yes.
yesteryear that was all discussed and approved at an earlier date.
Yes, sir.
So. Okay, let's, moving on, thank you for your comments. Let's review the financial statements, circling back. Jeff, would you like to take us through the financials, being in your new role,
Yes.
or am I putting you on the spot there? There's not a lot to go through.
No, these are what I have as of the end of September. The sales tax revenue is $167,000, which is about $27,000 over budget. There was no miscellaneous revenue budgeted. What that really represents is interest income, and the interest income $6,847. The expenses, it's hard since I haven't been here to see them all, but I've gone through them. I want to tell you, though, that I still have 3 or 4 invoices outstanding, substantial invoices, totals about $30,000 or $40,000, and those will be accrued. I'll be paying them later, but they will be accrued back to September, so they will show up in expenses. I will bring back a financial statement for September that is, because it takes a long time for the audit, that has all those accrued in there, so that it'll be very close to what the actual financial statements to come out with the auditors will be.
Okay. Okay.
Is there any questions on that or anything?
Not I. Anyone? Any discussion?
The capital expenditures, are those going to, well,
Those represent the ones that I understand they had a resolution on there for the fire department to do. The other items I still have outstanding are the cart path, and we have that invoice in, and some of the computers for the generic city, and that's about $24,000. And those were items I understood before I was here that were actually approved in resolutions for the Economic Development Corp.
There's also been a clearing project that's
Yeah,
been
oh,
completed. The
yes,
first
and-
phase of it's been completed,
okay.
so that's coming.
So I'm passing the invoices by you, Mr. Drury, so that you can tell me, yes, this is what it is and this is what it should be. And I'd appreciate it, if you would sign them for me to tell me this is what we intended, because I have no knowledge of the prior of when they took place, and I want to make sure I don't pay something that's
Right. Yeah, that's kind of the arrangement I had with Janice, is I would send an email response, at least saying this item based on resolution so-and-so
Yep.
is an appropriate to pay based on that
okay.
resolution.
Then I will do that, because
Yeah.
I'll print those out and I'll use them as my backup. That's what I need to do.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
should we reclassify those capital expenditures to whatever project? I'm not sure if we had anything budgeted or if we ever amended the budget for those items, but we've got a big miscellaneous budget item.
Yeah, what I'm going to do is I've been here a month, but I'm going to redo this so that I have it by project for you. And it'll be by project, by expenses. For example, you'll have legal expense, whatever projects you do, and they will be numbered, and the project will have a number, so you know how much out of any of these accounts are within that project. And that's the way an economic development corporation should be done, so that you can tell how much the project total expenses are and how much you budgeted. And I'm going to work on that. It takes time to go through because I have to create accounts and items. But this fiscal year, I plan on doing that so that it's a lot easier for you to see financial statements and know. I mean, I can go through these and tell you exactly what the ones were, the ones that I know of, and go and find previous items that happened before and tell you what it was. But if you have it on the financial statements so that each project is there and you see what it is, it'll be a lot more informative for you.
So projects that come up and come along during the year that are not necessarily part of the beginning of the year budget, what we've done in the past is those projects get carried as a new project.
Yeah.
Is that workable?
Well, what I'll do is I will set for your budget, your you can budget, the amount of money you have available for projects, and then as you come in and create projects, okay, they will take up some of that budget money. So you won't have to go back to council all the time. We'll be doing budget amendments all the time and items like that. And what I'll do is you have money available for projects that you won't have any projects to fill yet, but as you get projects, it'll be taken away from that, so you'll be able to see what you are doing, how much you have
Series
left.
of $10,000 budgeted projects that are previously budgeted projects.
10,000?
But then there's also projects that come up that are bigger than $10,000 that we always take to council, in theory.
Yeah.
And so that still works for you.
Yes, no, that's fine. No,
Okay.
the projects, the ones that have to go to council are fine. The ones that don't have to go to council, as long as y'all approve them, it's fine. What I'll do is assign numbers to them. I'll put it in there, and I'll take it. It's not really budgeting something that's not there. What I'm doing is taking the budget that is there, that's available for projects, and classifying it for the different projects you do.
Okay, great. Well, it's great to have you on board.
Thank you.
You've been needed for a while. I didn't say that. All right. So the financials. Do we have a motion to approve the financials?
Motion to approve September 2018 financials.
A second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, financials approved. And then now for public discussion. Is there any more citizen discussion other than Delane's? You're back. Good. Yeah.
Scott Bailey, 118 Canyon View.
Yeah.
Just had an idea, talked to Michael Howard, he brought a good point, is, a lot of these, I'm on board with a good portion of these ideas that you come up with, and you guys come up with for the kind of Harvard Park, and they're great ideas. And he just mentioned that, might be a good idea, and maybe you already do it, but some of the HPCA functions, maybe we could set things up to where people could see the ideas that we have, or that you have for Howard Park. Because let's face it, a lot of the people, they feel like they're out of the loop, and this way it would give them an opportunity to take a look at, hey, this is a great idea, instead of just hearing about it and not really knowing what it is, and
Right.
just voting it down, or being mad about it or whatever. So it was just an idea that Michael Howell had, and I thought it was a great idea. I told him I would convey it for him.
Yeah.
So
Great.
maybe in future functions, maybe just something on an easel or whatever.
Yeah.
So.
That's a great idea. And thanks for all you do to serve this town. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thanks for your time, kind of going through some thoughts and ideas. You've come up with some great ideas that we'll incorporate in the future projects. So,
To go along with Scott's idea, one thing that would be good is, like, November 3rd is the breakfast. So there, the chief of police is there, and other people are there, and they present stuff. Maybe you could talk to Holly and see if you could have a presentation and show some citizens.
okay, we don't really have anything that we're presenting right now, but when we do, we will do that. So at this time, we don't have anything that's formulated enough until we solve this whole swimming thing. We're not really bringing anything forward on Voight, and we'll talk about that in a minute, but we will.
I'm sorry,
Yeah.
how some of the citizens.
Yeah, I hear you.
And me included,
Yeah.
it's just,
Yeah.
people just, they hear things, but when you put it on paper and they can see it, then sometimes they get excited about it.
Yeah.
So,
One of the nice things about initiating it within the EDC is it's public hearing here, so then it's kind of on minutes, it's on, and everybody kind of sees it. And then and then if it's big enough, it goes to council, so then it gets seen again. So it's getting it, if versus something popping up in council, first time gets approved, and then it's not, at least these things that are coming out of EDC are getting a double hit as far as the community is concerned. And that's what I like about it.
yeah.
And that's why I like the bigger projects, and we'll talk about that some tonight. So, okay, thank you all for all your input. So this item number 2 or item number 1 on new business is to discuss and take possible action to adopt a resolution to withdraw prior EDC resolution regarding the 2018 Voight Park fence and gate improvement project and discuss other suggestion amenities at Voight Park. And really the reason that I'm proposing that we withdraw this is we've gotten a lot of good feedback. We're formulating a more comprehensive plan for the area that we might be able to support, that I need to meet with, once we get it formulated, meet with Ryan and make sure how it ties into the EDC and make sure the items we can do and the items the city would need to do. But we're proposing a much more complete plan. There's a lot of ideas that have come up that citizens have brought up, that homeowners have brought up, different people. So that's what we're trying to do. Great facility. We're just trying to refine it, and so I'd like to pull what we've previously proposed off the table, and it got stalled out at council anyway, and so that's kind of where we are. So that's what I'm proposing in this resolution. So if y'all want to review it and someone either approve or not or disapprove the resolution accordingly.
Just one comment on the resolution. The second page refers to resolution number 367, but it's 366 all across page 1. Is that?
Brian, I'm going to look to you to make sure we get the resolution number correct.
1 second. Let me do this, Mr. President. Let me pull up on the Dropbox what the actual resolution numbers are. If you want to maybe go on to the next
I just want
item,
to, yeah.
and let me double check, and then we'll come back to this one in a second.
Can we
I
go
want
ahead
to
and
make sure I'm
act
looking
on
at
it
the right
assuming-
document.
Can
Yeah.
we act on it assuming that the
It is
resolution?
366. Yeah, it's 366.
366?
And then on page 12, you're right, there's a typo. It says 367, but it is 366.
Okay.
I make a resolution to approve the action to adopt a resolution to withdraw the previous EDC resolution regarding the Voight Park pool and fence and gate project.
Second the motion.
Okay, motion carries. The item, all in favor?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Oh, I'm sorry. Now motion carries. I'm sorry. I thought the two of y'all was enough to vote. All right. So item number 2, discuss and take possible action on the Municipal League Economic Development Conference and issues related thereto. Ben, do you have something on that? That's it has you down as listed. There's a conference coming up.
Well, I didn't originate the material, but there is a conference, and maybe Mr. Henry knows about it, or Janice, I think, was the one who circulated it to all of us. If you've had time to read that, and if you're interested, certainly any of you could speak up. I went through training like this the first time that I was on this board, and I know it's very informative, as well as you get to meet other people who are doing the same thing in other cities and communities around the state. And you get to meet some of the state officials, and it's very helpful to learn and see what can be done with the EDC. So I would encourage us to set aside some money and send people as they want to go.
If I'm not mistaken, Mayor, aren't you and Mr. Drury going?
That is the EDC conference in December on the 7th. Yeah.
Is that the same conference?
No, the TML conference is coming up next week.
Yeah.
It's in Seguin, I think.
Okay.
I think. Was it in Fort Worth or Seguin? It's not here. I know.
Mr. Henderson, do you remember the cost, the registration cost for that one? I don't remember the registration cost.
I think it's $400.
Yeah, like it's usually $350 to $400 a person to go, and then whatever is for travel and stuff.
I think it's in Seguin this year.
I think it is too, and I
Yeah,
could have
it's
sworn
for
y'all were signed up, but I'll check.
2 days of sessions. They are informative and they're helpful. Excuse me.
Any takers? Well, thank you for bringing it up. No action required. Item number 3, project update on the 2018 Voight Pool Solar Thermal Heating Project and issues related thereto. Mayor Murphy, you want to give us an update on that?
Sure. As we discussed in our meeting recently, we got some competitive bids in, and a local provider was selected, and they were about $22,000 less than the previous vendor, and they seemed to have a type of equipment that was more compatible to the size of pool that we have. So I was pleased with that change, and along with that, coming up in the next month or two, we talked briefly about it, ways for people to be able to access the pool throughout more of the calendar year, with a gate access and whatnot. There was a bid received recently for $10,500, and down the road, I'll present to the EDC a request to see if a portion of that $22,000 that was saved could be used for helping people access the pool. And I would assume that the equipment could be moved around if anything changed in the configuration of the boundaries or what have you, as an element of any plan that you were going to present. But that's all I've got right now. They're planning to come out on the week of the 22nd, do a site inspection and confirm some measurements and get started on the project. So thank you for your help.
Good. Well, thank you. Any other comments? Okay. Item number 4, project update on the Sonterra Club Cart Path project and issues related to. Julie, you want an update on that?
Yeah, so I think we're good. It's ready, and no update really. Everything went as planned.
The club did exactly what we agreed for them to do, and they did it very timely, and it worked out well, and they've got the gate reworking and stuff. So I was real pleased. It also, as much of what that project was about, it was really about establishing good working relation with the club and allowing us to improve views behind our facilities, and that's all. If you've been down there, we'll talk about that in the next item. But I think the relational value of that is as much as anything. I think it's really helping the kind of the neighbor relations and some of the opportunities that we have related to that. So, and I think has a lot to do with a lot of the commercial aspects of our community. We're able to promote the community differently and involve our vendors in events down there. And so, like bringing in walk-ons on our tournament and some of the things we're doing with our vendors, I think is a big plus for all parties involved. So, the item number 5, the project update on the Voight Clearing project. The Phase 1 Voight project is completed, and if you haven't been down there, then I encourage you to go down and look around. And then item number 6 is discuss and take possible actions to adopt a resolution regarding the Phase 2 Voight Park View Corridor clearing project and issues related thereto. When we first brought the project up, we were going to do an initial clear right on the fence line, and then we had an exhibit that we had proposed that showed some view corridors down some of the primary fairways and to really get some distant views out of the complex. And we were really trying to get all that approved through the club. The club has approved and giving us full discretion on that. And so we really are prepared for that second part of it. We've met with them after the first phase. They're very pleased with what's happened, and they're open to the second phase, which is more distant view in a few select locations. So that's what this resolution is about, and but we need to actually review it and take a vote on that today.
So, Mike, this would authorize the second phase.
Right.
Okay.
We did 10,000 on the first one, and we're doing another 10. We were really going to do 20,000 initially, and we did 10,000 on that, and then we did 10,000 on. We separated into a view corridor and a fence line clearing.
So the fence has been done, and this is for the view.
Right.
Okay.
The property's the fence. So these projects are outside of our property, but what they've done and what we're really kind of, and it's really playing well, is what we're really wanting to see happen is there's a piece of landlocked property back on the back side of the Voight Center, and that the size of that property that we've prepared an exhibit, and we're in discussion with Sonterra right now. The size that we're talking about is bigger than Triangle Park behind Voight Center, and it looks over a bluff. And so the clearing is starting to open up, and the recognition of the potential of that. And so that's really what we're trying to accomplish is, and the conversations are they're going well. We just need to, there's a lot of players. It's an international group, and so, but they're very pleased with where we are now. They don't really have any immediate use for that property because it's all locked by the club. And we're leaving them more than adequate buffer in what we're proposing to them that they won't even hardly know we're there. So it's, thank you for asking. So any other thoughts? Yeah.
I got two questions.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
We want to hear you so much.
Yeah.
Most people don't say that.
Yeah.
Okay, I have two questions. One, and I keep trying to look at it, is if I was opening a business in Highwood Park, first it would have to be on the back side behind Taco Cabana. It's pretty much all y'all have to offer. So now if I opened a golf business, then I would see where I would be interested in this. But I don't see, one, what fooling with the golf club, how that brings business in. Because they don't, being a business person, I don't care what the pool looks like or this looks like. I care that we've got a policeman and a fireman that's going to put out or stop the burglar or whatever. But I don't really care about what the residents in Highwood Park get to enjoy. And the second part is, I just think it's very odd that you would spend $20,000 to improve someone else's property. It's just like if I landscape my neighbors because I want a pretty view, that's just not smart. But it would be my own personal money, and this is money that's brought in by taxes that would go towards the residents.
Okay. I wish I could respond. I'm not allowed to respond.
You could too, so I always feel like I'm
Yeah.
talking to myself.
I have had meetings with every city council person, and you're the only one that I can't seem to get the meeting scheduled with, but we'll work that out. And I'm walking through and explaining kind of the strategy of the resolutions that I will be proposing to the EDC. So it'll kind of give you some understanding of where I'm coming from as it relates to the businesses and the way we can promote our businesses, because that's what we're really trying to accomplish here. So, but I can't explain that to you right now. All right.
You need a
where are
motion,
we?
sir.
What's that?
You need a motion, sir.
Oh, we do need a motion. Okay. So we're looking on item number 6 for a motion on the Phase 2 Voight Park View Corridor Clearing Project.
I make a motion to approve the resolution regarding Phase 2 of the Voight Park View Corridor Clearing Project.
Second the motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.
I'm going to vote no on that.
Okay.
And you didn't ask for discussion.
You want
If
to?
you'd
We
like
can
to know
discuss.
why?
No, I would like to know why.
I feel like with what you said a moment ago about the other discussions that are underway with the Sonterra ownership, it sounded like that's not quite finished or complete. And if you haven't assured your vision for maybe acquiring or utilizing that other larger tract, then I just would feel like we could wait to spend this additional $10,000 until you were more assured of the other piece. That's the way I'm looking at it.
I think I probably misrepresented it earlier. I think that's a very possible end game. What we're really after is getting long distant views out of our facilities that we don't have right now.
I understand.
And those distant views are enhancing the facilities in a way, and some of the things we have coming up, we're looking at some things that actually involve some of our businesses. And so we're trying to get the facilities down there where they're much more alive and utilized on significantly increased schedule than what we have right now, with the ability to involve our businesses. That's what we're trying to do. But the views and making the facilities more attractive, that's what we're trying to do with this. We're trying to impress our realtors when they come in to kind of help promote our community.
Okay.
Item number 7, discuss and take possible action to adopt a resolution to withdraw the prior EDC regarding the Donella Drive 281 Gateway Landscape Improvement Project and related issues thereto. What this was, we had proposed a resolution for redevelopment of the Donella and Mecca Drive. I'll kind of talk about 7 and 8 at the same time. The Donella and Mecca Drive projects, and when we took them into council, the projects were really cut in half, and they agreed to do one side of the street at each entrance. Well, as I kind of talked through with the landscape contractors and looked at the process that it's going to take to implement that project and the cost I'm going to spend going back through the design, getting the documents adjusted to the different project, but the time to get through TxDOT, the time to deal with neighboring property owners, the time to deal with utility location issues. I decided it's too much effort for the reduced diluted scope, and so I'm really asking to just drop the projects for now, and we'll bring them back as maybe updated projects at a later time when we've done some other things in the park and people understand the real issue. The real issue is as much maintenance as it is design and landscape. And if you leave this meeting and you go through Hollywood Park, if you look at the city-owned properties, the front gateways, all the greenbelt areas, like the bridge areas, the Rio de Mata utilities area, I mean the oak wilt and the landscape in those areas are the worst of Hollywood Park, and that's what we're really trying to do here is to move these projects to refine projects, but I want to put on each project a maintenance contract that allows those projects to stand out and hopefully end up driving the quality of what our neighborhood looks like. And that's my biggest issue is landscape maintenance. And and I think it has a big impact on how the city's viewed. I think it's when you drive in, I mean, there's grass that's 2 feet tall at some of our entrances even today. And so there's been up, there's an edge strip right in front of our city hall that's just, I mean, it looks like a construction site, and it's a landscape zone that's our front door of our city. So that's what I'd like to do is to back them out, get them tied to landscape contracts, and put them with an annual agreement, and let's see what that looks like. So that's kind of what I'm proposing. So any discussion on that? I'm sorry, I sound kind of frustrated, but I kind of am.
I think I'd like to say, I guess we'll have to agree to disagree on your assessment of the care of our common areas. We've had record rain, and besides the 7 owned properties, I feel like we just aren't going to be in agreement on that. I consider it a strength of our guys to try to keep up the properties. I think if a xeriscape or a self-reliant landscape system is possible, that could be ideal. But and I apologize, I'm going to have to leave the meeting early. It has nothing to do with my opinions on landscape, but I think our guys do a good job. So, but I'm just going to stand up for them and say that.
Well, I think at Voigt Park it's gotten better. I mean, but before all the rains, there was a period before I started meeting with council, and I have photographs that I met with the council and showed them. There was lantana completely across sidewalk. I mean, completely across the sidewalk. I mean, how do you lantana climb 5 feet across the sidewalk? That's not good routine maintenance. Now, since I raised the flag, it's been brought up. That area's been improved a lot, but they're still those are new lawns, and they're full of weeds. And our Voigt Park, we spent $200,000. What do we spend? I mean, Triangle Park, and it's full of weeds. And so, I mean, it's almost all weeds. And so, we work with commercial properties all the time, and work with all these major landscape companies that are set up. They have insurance. And they come in and they're geared for it. I know Kelly and his team are trying, but it's 2 or 3 people, and I don't know how much training they all have to do what I'm hoping to see happen. And so that's where it is.
Yeah,
but the key is, let's just leave this meeting. Maybe by next week everything looks awesome and we don't have to do any projects. But this is where I am. I drive into this area and I talk to. When I bring up these projects, everybody, oh my gosh, finally we're going to get something done in these areas. Well, why? I mean, why don't we just do them? That's what's happening. That's my reply back.
I think it's interesting to hear.
And I've said this to you.
Sure.
Yeah.
2 sides of some of these issues. Spreading pesticides and pumping poison into the public lands, where we're also trying to take care of our deer population and wildlife and monarch butterflies, like Ms. Schmidt brought up at the last council meeting. When the land was cleared, it's important we look at all things. But yeah, I appreciate your point of view and hope you'll respect mine.
Yeah, I do.
Yes, sir. Because they're individual resolutions, it's clear what you're adopting. So yes, you could do a motion for 7 and 8, but if someone only wants to vote on one and not on the other, then they would amend it. Was that a motion?
No, I
Okay.
don't know if we're finished discussing.
Oh, okay.
I was just asking a question.
Okay.
I think the activists for lantana and weed growth are coming in. No, I'm kidding. There's no such group.
Mike, is there more discussion? Are you going to ask for more discussion?
Yeah, I mean, is there any more discussion?
Well, I think that the number 8 possibly, if I could weigh the impact of one intersection or the other. I think this one is, more important because it is our main city entrance. It's right here where our parking lot is for staff, firemen, and then you got, the fire city offices wrapping around the corner here. If we really put our thought to it, we could have a very dramatic entry, monument, signage, and palms or what have you, along with more physical structures. I hope if you withdraw it that you will come back with, whatever the vision is for everything combined, which will greatly change the landscape. On number 7, I don't feel bad about letting that go because I had a little bit of reservation every time we looked at the designs for that one, because coming down the access road for traffic, that scheme or that plan that the architect drew up when he showed the before and after, on the after shot, you just practically can't see that office building there. And so I thought, maybe we don't want to obliterate the view of the office building for, what is it, a dentist office that's there? I don't even know, but
Yeah, we're going to have to get property owner, because some of those schemes, they reach over into property
Right.
that we don't own.
yeah. So I don't want to offend
They
anybody.
involve city property,
Yeah.
TxDOT property, and property owners. So there's coordination between all these parties, which is part of the reason I really wanted. We were pushing them through as a project and willing to go through all those steps for the golf tournament, but we're not making it because of the cutback stuff, and so I'd rather just table it until we have time to get with the right people and come up with comprehensive plans and get it worked through, so.
Yeah, they
but
just
yeah.
need refinement, I think.
Yeah.
If you want to let
Yeah, go ahead.
I did see the drawings that you permitted as city council, and the work was beautiful. And I think every resident would love to have a beautiful entrance on Donella, on Mecca, Voight, wherever they come in, and I think that would be agreed. It was a lot of money, and that would create a monthly, yearly bill as far as having to hire someone to maintain them with your plan.
Right.
I don't know if Kelly's group could, if they need another person, then that's more tax money being spent on that. But as far as the plan that you had, it was beautiful, and every resident would love beautiful entrances. But a lot of the problem is because then it adds on where you have to hire either an extra person for Kelly, or you have to hire a professional landscaping company, and that's a monthly, yearly, down the road, 10 years, 20 years, whatever, to continue this thing.
Yeah, if we bring it back, my suggestion is to bring it back with a 1-year contract, maintenance contract by the contractor that installed it. That way we've got all the warranties covered, we've got and that group is taking care of it for a year, and we get to see what that professional landscaping looks like.
But then it's kind of like you spoke at.
But it's paid for by the project.
Yeah.
It would be funded by EDC.
About where, before there was projects where, I don't know if it was the garden club or just a volunteer group that planted some plants and they just all went to poop. Well, after that year and this contract's up with the individuals that put it all in, then will all that money be wasted because it won't still look the same without us continuing to put.
But I think what it'll do is it'll illustrate to the city that either it can be maintained by the city or it cannot be maintained by the city, and it'll show that. And so if we have a professional and it looks great after a year, and the city takes it over for a month and it looks terrible after a month, then we need to go back and hire a private contract, which I believe will be less money anyway, to hire a private contract that can be renewed on an annualized basis, and they have to perform to get the next year's contract. So I'm all about private
Well, no, and I
private
understand
support.
that, but then
And
that is-
so it's just project by project. But what I'm going to suggest going forward on all of the projects, I suggest they're going to have contracts for a year's maintenance, and then we can decide as a city, or you can decide as a council, or to who funds ongoing maintenance, and whether it's done internally, and do we have the bandwidth to do that, or do we need to go out to get somebody else to do it, or that's something that we'll have to all sort through. But you'll get the decision as a council person to decide whether to support our project or not.
Okay.
And
Just
so
think that,
that's-
yes, it'd be beautiful, but it's something
Yeah.
that will continue to cost us from year to year to year. one way or another.
As it should if we do it right. It should cost us. If our neighborhood looks better, it should cost us more than whatever we're spending now. Maybe. We're spending $200,000 on public works salaries alone right now. So,
Can I say something?
yeah.
Again, I'm on board with just about all of the projects that you had presented. And before we had Voight rehab and put the pool and all that, the landscaping here was easily taken care of. But now with the Voight Center and all that, I mean, that's a full-time job in itself. So I agree with you, Mike, that we need to look at other avenues of taking care of this stuff, because let's face it, the Voight Center is so big and so complex, and keeping all that stuff together it takes a crew just down there. Not to mention all the other things that that you were talking about, the green belts and the entrances and all that. And I think it's important. I just want to say that I think it's very important that we keep these areas looking as good as they can, even without an updated entrance, which I think we need. But at the very least, we need to keep these areas up to date. And I am totally on board with outsourcing as much as we can, because you're right. They're held to a higher standard, and they're professionals, and they do that on a daily basis. And they don't get behind. When they get behind, they hire more people.
And there's a lot less exposure because there's no workman's comp. I mean, they cover their own insurance, and they have their own equipment. We're not repairing equipment. So there's a lot of pluses to going to a group like that. But I appreciate your,
So I just wanted to
yeah, thank you. Appreciate it, Scott. So any more thoughts and discussions on this?
Mr. President,
Yeah,
I agree with you.
yeah.
I think this outsourcing is a great way to look at it. I wanted to speak on the Danella. You mentioned the grass over on one of the entranceways is very tall. It's tall because that's not our property. I can't go touch it. It belongs to the building there. I already talked to them about it. They've got a code notice on it. They made the comment that public works payroll is $200,000. It is, but that's because I've absorbed code compliance over to me also. So, but, I think anytime you install any new landscaping, when I install new landscaping, I always try to put a maintenance agreement on it also. I think that's a very wise thing to do, at least for the first year. It takes care of any problems that's gonna come up.
So as far as like the like the park areas, like the Triangle Park, you think it would be good to have a private group maintain
Not necessarily
Triangle
on
Park?
Triangle Park. Triangle Park was in real bad shape for a while because the irrigation system wasn't running. I don't know why it wasn't running, but it is up and running now. So that's why we're starting to get a lot more grass in there. It starts to look a lot better. From a landscaping background, one of the advantages of having on staff to go do landscaping on a daily basis is you take care of minor problems before they become big problems. And that's the one disadvantage that you don't have with an outside vendor, is they're not there every single day to stay on top of things. But that's the only thing.
Right. But you do have a phone number, and you'd always need someone like you to be able to call them and stuff, but you have a phone number and they have a whole team to call in as you need to. But they only get the renewed contract if they've done a good job in the year before. So,
Like I said, I think it's
yeah.
a very, very good move. You know, when Voight Park was finished, it was, had a 90-day maintenance agreement. I think it should have been longer, but
So if you drive down the little gardens, it's not super fancy, but the entry of the gardens is privately maintained.
right.
Immediately across the street is our Donella Bridge and the Beltway and all that. That's all publicly maintained. If you just drive down that street, you get a pretty clear picture of the difference between the two. So it's I encourage everyone in the room to drive around a little bit after this meeting, and you'll see kind of where I'm coming from on all this. And I'm not trying to pick on you. I'm just, you or your team, I'm just saying what is going to be best for our group, and how do we approach projects as an EDC? Do we do projects, or do we do projects with contracts? And I think we should be doing that, and I'm glad to hear you agree with that.
I mean, I think it's something to really look into.
Yeah.
The initial first year, that
Yeah.
covers all your warranty problems,
Right,
all the problems that come up from a new installation.
yeah,
You know, it takes care of a lot of things.
yeah.
And there's always the partnership of, you have a contractor come in and they do the heavy maintenance, and then you have your on-staff employees who go through the beds and pick up the trash and trim the broken stuff to keep it looking good. So, there's all kinds of options.
Well, thank you, Gil.
Yes, sir.
Some of these areas are privately owned.
Actually, can I get you guys to come up to the mic? Can we keep talking? Because, sorry about that.
Scott Bailey, 118 Canyon View. You mentioned that some of these areas are privately owned. Are they bound by the city ordinances to
If
keep
they're in
it?
the city, they get a code violation if they're out.
Okay.
And we go through the process.
Okay. And how long does that process take?
Well, with the new city ordinance, we can do it much faster, 10 to 20 days. But we're just starting to get that established. Last week, we had a meeting explaining how the process is gonna work. So in the meantime, we're still doing okay, you got 10 days to do something, okay, here's your second notice. You got 10 more days, here's your third notice, okay, now we're gonna have to follow.
But isn't the first 10 feet right of way?
Inside city limits, yes. But there on Danella, that's actually on 281. And that's not our property.
Which side is not our property? Both sides?
Both sides.
So both.
So where that grass is real tall right in front of our sign,
Mhm.
I already went and talked to them about it. They're supposed to be taking care of it, but they haven't yet. I actually personally went and talked to them. So, hey,
On both sides of the street, the same way?
yes, sir.
Okay. And what about like the gas station?
Gas station belongs to Burke.
Is that corner, is that Hollywood Park, or does that belong to him up to the curb? Isn't there grass there?
You know, I really couldn't speak on that. I don't know. I'll look into it.
What I think it is I think that Hollywood Park on Mecca and on Donella, the right-of-way down to the freeway is Hollywood Park property to within 10 feet of the roadway. And then it becomes private property, and then, at least on the surveys I've looked at, and then it's TxDOT out on the freeway. They have a big right-of-way for the freeway. So the frontage, along the frontage is TxDOT. From the property line back is the property owner, and then out from the property line to Donella is Hollywood Park. And this is why I've tabled these projects, or suggested to table these projects, is because we have to go to all these parties and get everybody in concert with what we're doing. And we're happy to do it, but I don't want to do it half-cocked. I want to do it as a comprehensive, and I want to do it once. I don't want to do it twice. And so, and I'd like to go do both projects and get all the TxDOT approvals at one time versus, yeah. And so that's why we're sitting here talking about this right now. Yeah, thank you. So, any more discussion on items 7 and 8?
I make a motion to adopt a resolution to withdraw the prior EDC resolution regarding the Donella Drive 281 Gateway Landscape Improvement Project, and to withdraw the prior EDC resolution regarding the Mecca 281 Gateway Landscape Improvement Project.
Second the motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion is carried. Item number 9, project update on Voight Center ceiling fan replacement project. On that project, the fans have been ordered, and we're just, so it's just, we're hoping to have them in before the golf tournament, but no guarantees. So it's just 2 fans, so.
Who puts the fans in, Mike?
Contractor. I've got a contractor that's proposing to do a turnkey. There's some extra circuitry that was requested, and so some of that's getting covered as well. So any other discuss and take possible action on any projects or future agenda and resolutions? Any more items? No discussion? I didn't get you out of here as fast as I promised. Any discussion out there? Okay, meeting adjourned. Thank you. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it.
Last week, I don't know what it is. Glad to have you. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Yes, sir.
Hey, don't lose your Allen wrench and all.
These are the contractors. Someone picked them up outside.
Oh, tonight's 7 minutes? Signature on this also, sir, for tonight's minutes.
Oh, you do? Okay. Okay, Tom.
These are in backwards orders.
Yeah, that's all right. I'll take care of it.
You said the fans have already been ordered?
Yes, he said he's got it on order.
Who is this through?
It's through Dan. We weren't bidding it. We were just getting someone to get it done and get it in time within our.
You told me it was
Okay. Did you get bids? I didn't get any bids from you.
You sent your guy over to bid it, but he never got back. This was the first I heard about it.
Yeah. Did you get bids? I didn't get any bids from you.
I was still waiting for you to give it to me.
Oh,
You never did.
I didn't hear anything, so I just said get it on order so we can try to get it in.
I mean, I don't have a problem with it.
Yeah.
I just didn't know where things stood. Nobody communicated anything with me.
Yeah, it's not that big a deal. I mean, I mean, we needed to.
Who's doing it?
Dan Nunez.
See the one that came out?
Yeah.
Okay, what's he gonna do with about the electrical?
He's doing. I'll get with you on it. I mean, I'll show you what he's proposed.
Okay.
Yeah, I thought you all had discussed it, so I thought it was in court. Yeah,
I just don't know what he came up with.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I'll let you know, Kelly.
Even though it's your tables here, I'm sorry, I need your signature. Miss Julie, I hope you don't mind, or I'll just review if you want. I got in touch with the lady from SABJ again today, and she really was very significant with all tournament that you all will be.
Oh, good.
Do
Okay.
you mind if I send it to both of you all?
Yeah.
I couldn't give her too much on the details.
Does she work for them?
She worked for the San Antonio Business Journal, and she did a big old thing in New Braunfels recently. They had an event there, and she put it all over SABJ and invited the businesses that are associated with SABJ to come and see the event. So I thought maybe
They would be a source of some really good lists.
yes.
And I looked on there. I wanted to pull like the 20 largest brokerages, the 20 largest.
You know, the only concern I
But
have is
it's
the
for sale.
timing.
You have to buy those lists from
Yeah.
$20 for a
Well,
list.
you know what? We usually get them every year, free. I'll give it to the EDC.
Yeah, please do.
Okay.
The concern I have with promoting it through Business Journal at this late date is it's not going to look good. If it has been presented to them a month ago, I think it'd be fine. But if it's going to, if they initiate it for them to get it into their system, it's going to take them 2 weeks. I mean, it's going to barely make it in time for our tournament.
But it may be okay though
Yeah.
online. You know, if we're just
Yeah,
printed publication.
yeah. Just tell her the date of the event and say, is there anything she can do to promote it by that time.
Online.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you mind if I forward her to one of, like,
Yeah,
because
yeah.
you have more details than I do, and you'll probably be more.
Yeah.
And then send me those lists, and I'll send the flyer out right away to the top 20.
I don't know. I think,
Good, wow, I'm glad to know.
Oh, thank you very, very much.
yeah, will do. Thanks for coming out tonight.
You guys have a good evening.
Hey,